There's a feature on this little guy that I really, really like. Today we're talking about the Zoom F2. Let's get into it. Well, hey, what's up? My name is Tony, and I'm a filmmaker photographer in the St. Louis area. What do you think of this cool little set? I actually put this together as a trial to see what it would look like for an upcoming project, and decided I liked it so much I was just going to make a video while it's already set up. So here we are. Today we are talking about the Zoom F2. Now, Zoom has all sorts of different field recorders, and in my perspective, they're kind of the industry standard. They've got this one, they've got the H4n, they've got the H6, they also have the little H1s and the 1n and all those variations. But when it comes to field recorders, if you're if you've done any research on them, you've come across these little Zooms. And I think that for the money, they're great buy. They're packed full of features. And you know, if you're gonna get a field recorder, chances are you're looking at Zoom. Now, there's a couple things that are really, really nice about this little guy that they just released that I want to talk about. As you know, no matter how good your video is, if the audio is bad, then your video is going to be bad as well. So, audio is very important that you take a look at. In fact, right now we're using a microphone right here above my head so that I can get nice, clean audio, because if I was using it on the camera, that's about 6 feet away. The audio is not going to be that great. So you got to make sure that you're spending time on your audio and video. And honestly, this is not a bad way to go about it. Now, I have got several other Zoom Zoom field recorders, and you know, I've got the H4n. This guy is so popular. It's kind of the Swiss Army knife when it comes to sound for video. I've also got a bunch of these Zoom F1s, and the reason that I use these things is for a couple reasons. One, I use them a lot for weddings, and what I'll do is I'll put one on the groom, I'll put one on the officiant, and that will basically capture really good audio. I set it to auto, and it just kind of lives in their pockets. I stick it right here in the coat pocket, and then clip it on, and then I get really good vows. I get really good, like, the whole ceremony, all of the stuff that you would need. The biggest problem that I have with this thing is that it's big, and you can buy a clip. The clip on the back of it is not great. And so I do think that there is some room for them to improve on these F1s, but when I bought these were the best ones. Now, another really cool feature about this F1, I know we're not talking about those specifically, but you can pop this off on the bottom here, and it actually has a port here that you can use other attachments. So you don't just have to use it as a field recorder with lapel, which is very nice. So these things have been good for me, but these new F2s are like half the size. They are a little bit lighter. They've got a much better clip built into it that you don't have to order separately. But the biggest selling point for me for this little F2 is that it has a 32-bit float recording, which means that it won't clip. Now, like I mentioned, I stick this on auto level, which 98% of the time is just fine. It picks up the audio when the band is playing, it picks up the audio when the groom is speaking, it picks up the audio when the officiant is speaking, and kind of adjusts it. But the biggest problem that I have is, say we're going through the vows, and right before the vow, the officiant leans in and asks the groom something very quietly. And so what it does is the auto level kind of bumps up, and then as soon as the groom starts to talk, you get this loud boom, and it clips the recording. And there's nothing you can do to fix that, because it actually clipped it just for a second. And it drives me nuts, because I want to have good audio. I don't want it to be clipping. I don't want it to be too quiet. I don't want it to be too loud. Now, the biggest advantage with this F2, with the 32-bit float, is that you can adjust your gain in post, opposed to adjusting it on the field recorder. So that means you can plug this thing into a lapel, you can throw it in the pocket and just let it record. You don't ever have to worry about levels, which is very, very nice. Now, this one does, by the way, Zoom did not send me these. They didn't ask me to make this video. This is actually my buddy's. I'm borrowing it from him just to give it a shot, to see kind of what it sounds like and how I like it, all of that fun stuff. Like I was saying though, what's nice about this one is it's very simple. It has the on-off button, then it has some playback buttons, and that's about it. So you clip it on, you hit record, and then you put it on the hold and throw it into the coat pocket, and you never have to worry about it again. So very, very nice, very, very tiny, and for the price, man, is it really, really hard to beat. For this one's $200. I think you can get the one without Bluetooth for $170. Now, the reason that you have Bluetooth, you cannot monitor this little guy with Bluetooth. You can only turn it on and off. And for me, that doesn't matter because the way that I use these field recorders is I turn it on, put it on hold, and I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the ceremony, rest of the speech, whatever I'm using it for. I don't really need the Bluetooth feature, but if you do happen to need that and you think it would be useful, then you can pay a little extra and get the Bluetooth version. So, lots of really cool things in this thing. The only downside is that, like the F1, that has that port on the bottom, you can't plug an external microphone. You can only use a lapel on this little doohickey. Other option to get around that though is you could use like a Rode Video Micro and plug a little shotgun into the input, and then you could do that. But this is a very nice little setup. As you can see here, you just plug the connector right into it, and then you've got whatever kind of attachments that you want from Zoom. Once again, it's all proprietary, but you can have a really small, ambient recorder then with these little F1s. Okay, so why don't we talk about audio quality from the Zoom F2. Right now we are using a Rode Video Micro mounted right above my head, right there. And then now we'll switch to the F2, and we're recording on the F2. And this is a typical place where I would put it. It's right here, kind of pointing up, and I would stick the unit into the breast pocket on say a groom's jacket, or back pocket if they're just wearing jeans, whatever. And this is kind of the audio quality that you're gonna get. So you can hear the difference. I'm sure it sounds great. Another thing that I noticed while we're still talking about this is the file sizes on the higher quality audio clips are significantly bigger. Like I'd say 3 to 4 times in size compared to say a regular Zoom F1. But for me, that size is completely worth it when it comes to being able to have audio that you don't have to worry about gain. So what you get in the box is you get the Zoom F2 unit, you get 1 lapel, and then you get 3 small wind breakers that you can stick on the lapel. You can use those, you don't have to. So that's basically all that comes in it. The only thing that you would need to get is you would need to order a micro SD card. Now for my Zoom F1s, I just use 16-bit, but because of the file sizes, I would probably suggest getting at least a 32 gig card, maybe bump up to a 64 gig. Micro SD cards are super cheap these days. So, other than that, if you've got any questions about the Zoom F2, be sure to let me know in the comments section below. Otherwise, make sure to like the video if this is helpful and it answered any questions that you had. Let me know how you like this cool little backdrop. I'm working on building a YouTube studio in my basement right now, and this might be something that I would consider making as one of my backgrounds. So, lots of cool things happening in 2021. Hope you're staying safe, hope you're staying healthy, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Lots of camera stuff. We'll keep going. See you soon.